Shut up and sit down.
Welcome, everybody, to the 3POA podcast, episode 10, the Batman movie review. I'm your host, Laserpants, also known as Ryan. I am joined, as always, by my friend and yours, the man behind Analog Toys, Mr. Tony Roberts. Casual tonight, man. Doing good. Doing good.
I'm just casually hanging out in my living room, watching UFC.
I like your Batman shirt. I realized today I don't own a single Batman shirt.
Oh, I've got tons of them.
Yeah.
But no modern Batman, all vintage Batman on my t-shirts.
We are also joined tonight by the man behind Action Force, the CEO of Valaverse, Mr. Bobby Vala.
What's up, gang?
What's going on? Back at the office tonight?
Back at the office. I'm at the office every day, man.
Yeah.
Every day.
Plugging away, shipping those figures.
It's a 24-hour-a-day job. Working on Paint Master, shipping out orders, making deals happen, you know.
I spent my day at a toy show.
Ooh.
Yeah. I picked up a few things.
Good show, or?
It was okay. I mean, actually, it's an amazing show. It's the Washington State Toy Show in Puyallup, Washington. It's inside an old Toys R Us building. So a lot of nostalgia just with that, right? But tons of vendors packed in, toys stacked just to the ceiling. I only got 3 small things, though. I've never seen these before. Have you guys seen these Guitar Hero 112 scale guitars?
Wasn't that a Nintendo game?
It was, but these are just 112 scale toys.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Only $5 a piece. I imagine they go for a lot more on eBay. I haven't checked. And then I grabbed another Iceman because he's starting to go up in price. And I want to kind of customize him into the Spider-Man and Friends. Or Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends Iceman. Paint him white with some blue accents. Anyway, that was my Saturday. You guys have seen Batman a couple times, huh? The Batman.
A few.
I've seen it twice, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not going to, where I live, we're not going to get the film for several weeks. And I don't endorse pirating movies, but for the sake of this show, like we couldn't do this show if I hadn't seen it. I had to watch what do they call it? You know, where someone's recorded it in the cinema. But
Ooh, that's painful.
Yeah, but it's still a good movie. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but even watching it like that, yeah, it was a good movie.
So even with the shaky camcorder in the theater, popcorn munching in the background, slurping their Cokes, you still enjoyed it. Babies crying.
Yeah, well, there was no babies crying. It wasn't shaky because whoever was doing it had it on a tripod. But there was a couple of times, like really key scenes, where someone a few rows in front stands up and goes to the toilet, walks out to the toilet. And it's like, I've stood up and had to leave a movie before for a toilet break, but they would leave at like really, really crucial parts. So
See, I'll endure holding piss for hours. I remember when I saw Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. That movie was almost 4 hours long, and I remember I had to piss like at the very beginning of the movie, and I'm like, "Well, I'm not missing 1 second of this movie," and I held that shit the whole time. It was so painful. But it's like I'd rather not, especially if I'm at the theater. I'd rather not miss something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You held your piss or held your shit?
What was that?
Did you hold your piss or held your shit?
I don't think I've ever.
I needed a piss, so I held that shit.
I've never had to hold a shit in the movie theater, but I've definitely held a good amount of pisses.
I can remember when I went to see The Dark Knight in the cinema, same thing. I don't think I needed a piss straight away, but within 30 minutes, and I held onto that sucker for the next, what felt like 5 hours. But
that's why you buy the extra large Coke, right? So when it's emptied and you got to piss, you just fill it right back up.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. We have a super chat right off the bat here. James Salzberg, thank you very much. He says, having family time, I'll catch replay.
Thanks,
Priorities, James. Okay. 3 POA before family.
Right?
No, I'm kidding. Thanks, man. Appreciate the super chat. This stream is being simulcast on a new channel. And I'm gonna put it in the chat, the link.
It's in the description of the video as well.
Mm-hmm. It is a new channel just for the 3 POA podcast. So we're going to simulcast for as long as it takes. Once we have enough subs on 3 POA, we'll probably switch over to there permanently.
Yeah, we will be switching over permanently. In my mind, I'd like to have it fully switched over by Iconicon. So yes, just so the audience is aware, right when we sort of came up with the concept of the 3 POA between us guys, I always wanted this to be Ryan's show. That's why he's the host. I'm more than happy to have it live on Analog Toys, but I really feel like Ryan's put so much work into this show. He deserves his own channel. He's become quite the draw on his own. Yeah, so I'm hoping over the next few shows we will migrate permanently across to the new 3 POA channel. So please click the link in the description or the one that Ryan dropped into the chat. Go and give it a subscribe, because I imagine probably after another 3 episodes, you won't be able to watch the 3 POA on this channel anymore. It'll be over there on Ryan's show. And then in 4 episodes' time, he'll probably fire me and Bobby and get 2 better people.
No, that would never happen.
Hey, speak for yourself, man.
We've already got the porno bots in the 3 POA chat.
I saw that.
So, guys, if you're on your computer or watching on your iPad or phone or something, if you could click that link that we put in the chat here on Analog Toys, go to the 3 POA channel, drop a subscribe, ring that bell, hit the like, all that YouTuber mumbo jumbo.
Yep.
And I'm seeing people in the chat. There's Drew G, Moonlight 47. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Up to 10 subscribers already. Look at that.
Boom.
And I will continue to remind everyone. I'll probably drop another reminder the middle of the show, end of the show, and all over socials. So look for that.
I have a reminder running along the bottom of the screen that I've pre-prepared just for you, Ryan.
You are so fancy. Look at that. We're like professional with this technology that I've never seen.
Right, when you wake up at 3:30 in the morning, you got to find something to do.
Yeah.
That's why there's always a new audio avatar for every show.
Right on. Okay. Oh, cool. Both chats show up in the StreamYards chat. That's awesome. Very good.
Nice. Yeah.
So, The Batman. 3 hour long. First, let's just get out of the way. Tony, let's start with you. What were your expectations going into this movie? I mean, it was delayed because of COVID, of course, but there was, from what I understand, a lot of rewrites, a lot of reshoots, delayed, I think, over a year until it came out. What were your expectations just based on the trailers?
I'm glad you just said the trailer, because the expectations I had prior to the trailer and then the trailer did shift. But I think initially, I love the movies that Matt Reeves did for the Apes franchise. That's an incredible trilogy. I think he made the second and third. Am I correct? Not all three, something like that.
Or did he I think you're right.
I think he made the second and the third. See, I knew he was a good director. I thought Robert Pattinson was an unusual choice, but I was not going to cast any. I was not going to vote whether it was a good or bad decision, because people weren't keen on Heath Ledger as the Joker. People weren't keen on Michael Keaton as Batman. We've been proven wrong many times before. So, but from when the first trailer for me, it looked good.
Sorry, forgot to silence my phone.
So
go ahead, Tony.
So if I was at a meeting at work and that happened, Ryan, you would owe me and Bobby a box of beer, like a carton of 24 beers.
Okay, I'll ship you one. That was my wife, and she should have known I was live on YouTube. We're gonna have to chat later, me and her.
Who was it?
My wife. Yeah, my ringtone is Axel F. All right, now you know.
Is it always Axel F, or is it just when the wife rings it's Axel F?
No, it's always Axel F.
Because my ringtone is the Knight Rider theme, unless Gracie calls me, and then it's the Darth Vader theme.
Nice. So just to back up, Matt Reeves, just the 2 Planet of the Apes movies, the 2 sequels.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, he did the second. I mean, all 3 of them were terrific films. But yeah, he did the second and the third. The first trailer, I thought it was good. But then they released the trailer where the opening scene is the Riddler in the diner, and they kind of go in there, and that trailer got me very, very excited. I liked the visual aesthetic. There was just something about the tone of the whole thing. Yeah, that's what the first trailer was, with the DC logo was kind of rotating like that as he was pulling the gaffer tape. And I watched that trailer and I'm like, oh, this is very like Jigsaw kind of, which they've obviously drawn some inspiration from that. That trailer really didn't do it for me. But then when they did the kind of longer trailer, which was introduced with the Riddler in the coffee shop and everything, I started to get really excited. So I had high hopes going into this. All of the little TV spots building up to it, not only seeing Colin Farrell as the Penguin, but there was a few TV spots where you actually heard the way he speaks. I was like, damn, that's, Colin Farrell's doing a really good job here. When you can't tell it's Colin Farrell at all, an actor's doing a pretty good job. So,
for sure. Bobby, how about you?
Unlike Tony, I had high hopes from the start. Batman is my favorite superhero, so I'm always looking forward to Batman content, or I should say live action Batman stuff. And, it's like ever since Clooney, they really haven't fucked up live action Batman. It's like, yes, I know people can complain about Superman, Batman. I liked it, and I also love the extended version of that. And you guys know how I feel about Snyderverse, the Snyder Cut. So Ben Affleck, I thought, did a fantastic job. He's not a Batman I really like as far as like lists goes, but he did an amazing job, and he was both a good Batman and a good Bruce Wayne. And for me, it's like, I feel like ever since Clooney, they're like, listen, we cannot screw up Batman. So they're very careful about when they cast someone. And when I saw it was Pattinson, he actually wasn't my first choice. when they were talking about who they were possibly getting, Armie Hammer was on the list. Now I think he's had some allegations since then, so it's probably good they didn't choose him.
Yeah.
But I love Armie Hammer. I loved him in The Social Network and what was the Guy Ritchie movie with Henry Cavill?
The Man from Uncle.
Man from Uncle. I love him in that. Like, he's really good, and he's tall, and he's built, and he's got a good chin. I was like, he would have been an amazing Batman. But when
he wasn't a very good Lone Ranger.
Well, everyone, not everyone can make gold, I guess. That movie was bad, not for him though.
Yeah.
So
and that's how I feel about Ben Affleck so I don't like Batman versus Superman. I don't like the Snyderverse, but I've never ever said that I thought Ben Affleck was a bad Batman. I actually thought he was quite a good. I didn't really like his Bruce Wayne, but I thought he was a very good Batman.
All right. So
what was that, Tony?
Nah.
Didn't silence your phone, huh?
No, that's my laptop. I can't turn that off.
Okay.
That's my weekly screen time report that tells me that my screen time was up 14% from last week for an average of 5 hours, 5 minutes a day.
Damn.
And I have a full-time job.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Bobby.
It's all right.
So I'm trying to remember what I was saying. So when Pattinson got picked, I was like, interesting. But then I was like, wait a minute, he's a great actor. Like, don't think of him like Twilight and Harry Potter. You got to see like his other stuff. He's in amazing movies. And then I had just seen him in Tenet, and he's great in Tenet. And I was like, all right, I can get behind this. And then I was thinking like, okay, they're going for, we always kind of go off the last thing we saw. Last thing we saw was Ben Affleck, an older, thicker, more brooding Batman. And I'm like, well, this is going to be something totally different. And once they started talking about year 2, I'm like, oh, okay. So this is going to be a more slimmer, younger kind of Batman who's in his, his sophomore season. And I was like, all right. And then the more I thought about it, the more I got behind it. And then once Matt Reeves said he was taking cues from like the Zodiac Killer, Zodiac Killer is one of my like favorite like serial killers to like watch documentaries on. And once I heard that they were doing that, I was like, shit, I'm sold. So I was all in from the very beginning. And then the more and more I saw things come out, the more I was like, this movie's going to be amazing. Once they showed the Batmobile, I was like, great. They show Jeffrey Wright, I love as Gordon, Colin Farrell. I was like, man, this movie is going to be absolutely amazing. So I never had a doubt the whole time. And then I usually always get my hopes up about things. I get overexcited about them, and then they tend not to deliver, and then I feel like let down by them. But
like Book of Boba Fett.
Like the Book of Boba Fett. But like when I think about it, the Joker I was psyched on. It was amazing. Snyder Cut, I was so hyped for that, and it lived up to everything I wanted. And this literally, like, when I get into like, I don't know if you want me to do it now or later, but when I get into how I compare this to other Batman movies and where this stands, like,
we'll do that later.
Man, this movie, it was all I ever wanted out of a Batman movie.
We'll do that later, but I do want to get to a question from Scott Hughes. This is for Bobby. It says, Bobby, would Clooney have been a better Batman with a different script? Was it the acting or the writing?
No. He was just a terrible act. Like, he's a good, here's what he's like. He's like Ryan Reynolds. You see, Ryan Reynolds always plays Deadpool in every single movie he's in.
Yeah.
Even though he's kind of typecast. Like, if you see him in Captive, I think he was awesome. A good drama, but he never plays those roles anymore. He just plays that quirky, funny Deadpool character. It's kind of all he's good for now. Clooney's that way. If you put Clooney in a movie, you're always going to get the same guy. It's kind of like Nicolas Cage. You're always going to get him. Like, he's almost like a caricature of himself. He just always plays himself. So at least that's the way I feel about Clooney. So
yeah,
I mean, that movie, go ahead, Ryan.
I think Clooney's more versatile than that, but I totally understand what you're saying.
I mean, that movie was terrible for so many reasons, but
yeah.
I think if you had Christopher Nolan writing that movie, I still think that Clooney would have been a bad Batman.
Yeah.
He wasn't a good Batman, and he wasn't a good Bruce Wayne. Like, he wasn't a good neither. You have to be at least good as one of them to be sold, you know?
I mean, let's not talk about Clooney. I just wanted to bring up Scott's comment. Thank you, Scott.
Why are we not talking about Clooney?
Because we're talking about the greatest Batman movie ever made.
Oh,
I said it.
Oh, I remember this now.
what?
You're a fan of Batman and Robin, aren't you, Ryan?
No.
Or George Clooney?
I don't like that movie. No. All I ever said was that Clooney could have been a good Batman with a different script and a different director.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you said that on IE.
Yeah, that's why I brought up that question.
Oh, that's right.
No, I don't think so. Like, let's talk about Christian Bale for a moment. Christian Bale is a true actor. He inhabits different characters in all the films that he's in. Every movie that George Clooney's in, he plays George Clooney. That's why I can't remember the name of any of the characters that he's ever played. It's like, oh, George Clooney was in that. Like, say what you like about Sylvester Stallone's acting. I can differentiate between Rocky and Rambo. George Clooney is George Clooney in every movie he's in.
All right, we got a super
doctor
chat
from ER.
We got a super chat from A World Made of Cardboard. Thank you very much. He says, I've not seen the movie, but the Spin Master's Batmobile does something that no Batmobile has done for a long time. Hold two figures. Kind of neat. That Batmobile is awesome.
Oh,
that toy. Did you get that Spin Master, Bobby?
No, but I saw it today. I was in Walmart looking at stuff, and I picked up this guy. But I did see the Spin Master stuff, and I was like, good. I like that they were doing, the Batmobile, and it could fit multiple figures. They did the cop car with Gordon. I'm like, this is awesome. Good on them. I don't know how well a kid line is going to do for, the Batman, as dark and scary as it is. But I love that they did as much as they did do. But, that Batmobile is sick. So, seeing it in toy form is really cool.
Thank you, World Made of Cardboard.
What's the Spin Masters one?
It's the one that you wanted to turn into a custom Punisher Charger.
Yeah, what scale is that?
It's 3 3/4.
It's 3 3/4. They're little guys.
Yeah.
So I was really unsure about this movie because I figured WB, they had gotten so much backlash from the Snyder Cut, or the Snyderverse, I should say. And all of a sudden, Ben Affleck wasn't involved, and they cast Robert Pattinson, which I think I saw the first Twilight years ago. I don't really remember it. I didn't have much of an opinion on Robert Pattinson himself, but I figured they were just kind of going to go back to the Christian Bale style, the very grounded and realistic. And I prefer a Batman where you can envision like Clayface showing up, Superman showing up. And so even though I really did like the Batman, my impression was, they're going back to a Christopher Nolan style. Not really feeling it, even though I love the Christopher Nolan movies. I want them to go forward with Affleck, with a more, comic book based Batman rather than a super realistic grounded Batman. But I was pleasantly surprised and blown away, and the movie was fantastic. I really liked it. 3 hours long.
I wish it was 4.
Yeah.
I love long movies. If a movie's kind of less than 2 hours or less than 2.5 hours, I'm like, come on. Like, I will sit there and watch a movie forever. So for me, it's like the Snyder Cut. Hell yeah, give me 6 hours of that movie. Like, I wanted something so long. So to me, it's like when they said 3 hours, I'm like, hell yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
Dude, how long do you sit on the toilet for? Because the
long
Snyder Cut was a 4-hour bowel movement.
How dare you? You're testing our friendship. I'm just letting you know right now.
I mean, the Snyder Cut, if they would have taken out all the pan shots before every scene, like The 5-minute long, like we're panning over mountains now. We're panning over
Ryan,
Gotham
they're
City,
setting the
slow
scene.
motion.
They're setting the scene.
For 5 minutes?
How dare listen, I'll have 2 less friends by the end of this podcast.
I didn't hate the Snyder Cut, but it was a little bloated. But I do like Affleck as Batman. And I liked him as Bruce Wayne too. But anyway, so there was a lot of, before the movie came out, there was a lot of Robert Pattinson. We're going to get a sparkly Batman. We're going to get like the Twilight guy. I never bought into that because of, like Tony said, the Heath Ledger thing, right? Heath Ledger, even before I could remember the Michael Keaton backlash, like they got Mr. Mom going to play Batman. So I wasn't like on the hate train right away, especially because I wasn't super familiar with Robert Pattinson. I was ready to give him a shot. Of course, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, when they first announced it, I'm like, boy, they're going with a different style Penguin, because Colin Farrell, he's like fit, he's like a handsome dude, and Penguin is supposed to be short, round, and ugly. And then you see him in those prosthetics and the fat suit, and it's like, dude, man, Colin Farrell killed it.
That makeup artist should win an Oscar just for him alone.
Right. I was watching an interview just this morning, Colin Farrell on some American talk show, where the talk show host was like, I hope that person wins the Oscar for the makeup. And Colin Farrell in that, she's like, he's explaining in the interview, he's like, people refer to him as the Penguin in this because he's got a funny gait and all of that. He said, but actually I played Oswald Cobblepot in this film. He says, you actually haven't seen who the Penguin is yet. And I was like, oh, that got me excited.
Yeah, that HBO Max series might be one of the first comic book series on a streaming service I might watch.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a little overkill myself. Like, already? We're going to get just like a Penguin show? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I did think that as well, but
I mean, I'll definitely
had a great opening weekend. It's just what Hollywood does.
I'll definitely give it a shot, no doubt.
I'm glad they are, so we don't have to wait like 2 years in between stuff. Like, look how long it's going to be between Mandalorian seasons. Even though we kind of got a Mandalorian season anyway, but it's like that's what they did
rather than letting people wait a couple of years. They went, oh, let's rush the Book of Boba Fett and give them that dog turd.
Yeah.
I hope the Penguin isn't.
I'd rather if Batman's gonna do well. It's like, I think he signed on for 2 or 3. Man, I would have filmed them all at the same time, back to back, like Lord of the Rings. It's like I don't want to wait another 2.5, 3 years before we get the sequel.
Yeah.
Like, I want it now.
I think they said Matt Reeves is confirmed for 2 more, but I haven't heard anything about the actors. There was a lot of behind the scenes drama with Robert Pattinson or Matt Reeves.
That's what I heard, but
Oh, Drew G. Yeah, I wanted to tell Drew here that we can see both chats in StreamYard.
Yeah, so the way StreamYard works, you can stream to more than one channel. We could stream to YouTube, and I think Bobby, you do this on your streams. You stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. And all of the chats, whether they're Facebook or YouTube, they come up in StreamYard. So we can see everybody's chat. Since everyone's here, I want you to be honest with us now, Ryan. You said you think you saw Twilight once. Come on, bro. We all know you've got the 4K box set.
No, I don't. Drew G, you're the first moderator on the 3POA channel, so thank you.
Boom. Pay the man.
Oh, Tim Ward, thank you. He's blocking the porno bots. Anyway, so Tony, who was the standout for you? I kind of already gave away mine. I thought it was Colin Farrell as Penguin, but
I've got to go with Pattinson.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to go with Pattinson. It was really refreshing to see a Batman film. I mean, we've had 3-hour Batman films before. The Dark Knight was about 3 hours. The Dark Knight Rises was 3 hours. But this is like 80% Batman and just a little bit of Bruce Wayne. But he did so much acting with his eyes. And I was, even this grainy camera version I was watching, man. When he goes to that first murder scene where, spoilers, everyone.
Oh yeah, we're gonna jump all over spoilers. So if you haven't seen it,
we can't talk for an hour and a half about this and not do spoilers. So
yeah,
when he goes to the first murder scene where the Riddler's murdered the mayor, as he's leaving the scene, and Jim Gordon says to him, it was his son who found him. And he goes to walk through and he sees the son there and he just stops and stares at him, man. The intent, I mean, it's helped with the makeup and the costume and everything like that. But yeah, he was able to do so much acting with his eyes. What were you saying before, Ryan, about a lot of tension behind the scenes with Pattinson and the director? Or
apparently they didn't get along, and Robert Pattinson is a fantastic actor, and I'm just basing that off this movie. I don't think I saw anything else he's been in that I can recall. But excellent actor. But him and Matt Reeves, now this is the rumor mill, really butted heads behind the scenes, mostly because Pattinson didn't want to lift. He didn't want to work out. And that was my one issue with him in the movie. When he took that armor off, dude was skinny.
Yeah.
Like, he was a little too skinny. They had him, shirt off. What was he doing? Push-ups, or he was doing something. But I was like, man, he's skinny. And I prefer my Batman to be more Dark Knight Returns style, like Affleck was in Snyderverse.
See, I'm the opposite. I favor this, and also I think about it like you like a Batman that could live in the Clayface world. I want a grounded Batman. I want to know like Batman could be a real guy. And when I thought about it, like, all right, he said he wasn't going to lift, but it's like, okay, well, if you're Batman, you almost want to be like a parkour kind of American Ninja Warrior athlete. You got to be fast. You got to be agile. It's not necessarily about strength. If you could just be faster than everyone, you can hit him 7 times, before anything will happen. And you don't have to worry about that one punch knockout kind of thing. So that's how I visualize a Batman. Like, how would a real guy do it? And I don't think a big bulky guy would be Batman. And that was the one thing I didn't like about Affleck. He just looked like the Michelin Man. He looked too thick. I didn't really dig that. Like, to me, Superman should be big and huge and muscular, and Batman should be taller but a little more streamlined.
Okay, fair enough. And then the Riddler, and I got to look up what that actor's name was because I forget. Paul Dano. It was a take on the Riddler that I guess I kind of expected it based on the trailers, just seeing like the feel that this movie had. Very dark. To me, visually, it looked a lot like the Arkham City video games. Like, it wasn't quite as gothic, but it was very dreary, very rainy. Very seedy underbelly. That whole thing. And so, to see the Riddler and like Bobby said, he was they were inspired by the Zodiac killer or a real world serial killer. I thought that was a really cool take because even though as a kid, I liked Batman Forever, Jim Carrey as Riddler is just, it's way too Adam West Batman style, way too cartoony, not believable. But this serial killer Riddler, this extremist, because he is an extremist, right? It was a really cool take. So I was into it, and I thought that Dano did a great job.
Moonlight 47's comment is a throwback to There Will Be Blood, and I love his comment because when I was watching the movie, there was one scene where something happened with the Riddler, and literally right in my head,
That's Bobby's comment, not Moonlight's comment.
Huh?
Bobby Collins.
Oh, sorry, but sorry, Bobby Collins. Yes, sorry, I mixed that up.
Thanks for that video the other day, Bobby. Awesome.
Yeah, great video.
What video
but I
was
thought it was a good Action Force video. The one that we shared, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's Bobby Collins. Okay, cool.
So there was something happen, and all I could hear is Daniel Day-Lewis saying, "I'm finished now." And like, if you guys have seen the movie, that's like the end scene after he kills Paul Dano's character. So I'm glad that someone else kind of linked those two, and I wasn't the only crazy one.
That's right. That was him, and There Will Be Blood.
Yep.
Yesterland Toys, thank you very much. He says, I love how this Batman was portrayed as how he would be in real life, real time. Not all comical and overly superhero. I agree with Bobby. Best Batman by far.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Yesterland Toys. I want to get to, comparing Robert Pattinson to the other Batmans, but to get back to the Riddler, Tony, how did you feel about the Riddler?
Right up until the scene in Arkham where he's unmasked and has a confrontation, not confrontation, like an interrogation between him and Batman behind, the security glass kind of thing. I wasn't a huge fan of the way the Riddler was portrayed there. And I said this to you, Ryan, that I wasn't trying to spoil it for you. I was like, the movie's not perfect. There were some things that I can see a lot of people really liking Dano's portrayal, and then I can see some people who might find it a little bit odd. I said that to you when I'd seen the film once. When I watched it a second time, it wasn't quite so jarring on me. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the whole concept, very much the whole Zodiac killer thing. You can't go back now, but I would have perhaps even liked to have seen a different actor try and do that similar take. But it wasn't a terrible performance. There was just something about it didn't sit right with me. But there you go.
How'd you feel about his look, his costume?
Costume was good.
Mask. Yeah.
Oh, everyone loves a gimp mask, yeah.
Yeah. Bobby, I know you touched. What's that?
Do you want me to go and get mine?
Yes, please.
Please don't.
Bobby, I know you already touched on it, but what are your thoughts about the Riddler?
Yeah, he was great. That not every villain can fight Batman, and like hand-to-hand kind of thing. So Ledger did it briefly at the end of Dark Knight, but I think of Joker and Riddler aren't really villains that could fight Batman. So I'm glad that Riddler and Batman never really came face to face besides the interrogation scene with the glass between them. So that's the way it should be. They portrayed him perfect. I would have liked a few more riddles. There's a part within the whole movie where there's almost like a big gap without Riddler, and that's where they get into the Carmine Falcone stuff, and then you come back to the Riddler. So I would have liked to seen a little more of him, but what we had of him was fantastic. He was scary. There were so many things that they pulled from Zodiac and the Zodiac Killer, and I was like, man, this is awesome. So I thought he was fantastic.
Brian Rowland,
I agree with Brian Rowland's comment here. He really likes the Riddler's reason why what he was doing. So did I. It was very unique. And I agree with you, Bobby. That kind of middle set. Oh, I didn't even do that on purpose, man. I think I just bumped my camera cable.
Okay. Oh yeah, Bobby. Oh man, the memes are strong on this show.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
like I
might
said.
have to jump out and jump back in to get my camera going.
Okay, but
All right.
one of the concerns I did have before this movie was often with superhero movies, they're the victims of too many characters, especially too many villains in one movie, right?
Mhm.
And this one had Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler, Falcone, right? But I think they did a really good job of spending enough time on each
Mhm.
character, fleshing out their backstory, giving each character their own motivations for what drove them.
Yep.
And Tony's back. Oop, there we go. And I think they made it work. 4 villains, and I think each villain got enough time, got enough backstory, and I felt like they were all fleshed out.
Yeah.
4 villains?
You had Penguin, Catwoman, Riddler, and
You call
Falcone.
Catwoman a villain?
Well,
a rogues gallery character.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
She
they were
much of a
more
villain in this one.
Yeah, they were definitely more allies in this one. Although, I mean, she was still not morally good. She was a thief, right? She wanted to murder,
Yeah, but I wanted Batman to murder as well.
Batman doesn't murder. It's not the Punisher.
What did you think of Zoe Kravitz? And I'm good. And you need to answer this question in 2 different ways. One, what did you think of the portrayal? And what did you think of the way she looked?
Can I go first?
Yes.
Yes, you can go first, Bobby.
So I like Zoe Kravitz. There's a lot of things I've seen her in that I thought she was fantastic. I thought she was the weakest part of the movie. Now, her acting was fine. I just felt that I didn't like the way they portrayed her in the movie. Now, I said, I like a grounded Batman movie. Like, you look at Pattinson, his costume, that's a grounded Batman. Look at Anne Hathaway, even Zoe Kravitz. It's like you took 2 characters in a very grounded Batman world and literally pulled them out of the comics. And I look at it like, if you're Catwoman and you're going to be robbing places and jumping off, fire escapes and that sort of thing, I don't think you'd be doing it in that outfit and heels. You just wouldn't look that way. So to me, it was like Catwoman just looked so removed from that world. She's in there with the catsuit, with the high fashion belt and the heels on. And I'm like, come on. You had everything perfect. Every character looked great. And they looked like they fit in that world. To me, she was the limiter. Like I said, I love her. Her acting was great in the movie. It's just her character just wasn't the way she looked and the way she was portrayed. I just didn't dig it. And there's this thing, and my wife actually brought up this point because I was telling her that I thought she was the weakest. And my wife saw it with me when I saw it the second time. And she said, everyone always plays Catwoman the same. I get it. They're trying to be move like a feline, but there's a scene where they're up where the bat signal is, and Catwoman walks away from Batman, and she shakes her hips like she's walking down the runway, like she's a model. And I'm like, it just didn't seem right. It didn't seem like a believable character. I don't know. I'm not trying to sound sexist or anything like that. Again, she's gorgeous. She's a great actress. Her acting was fantastic. I just don't like the way they portrayed the Catwoman character. I would have liked to have seen her a little more like Batman.
She was given
some body armor
dialogue to deliver, wasn't she?
What was that?
She was given a few bits of really clunky dialogue to deliver.
That too, yeah.
So I didn't even notice the high heels. I didn't even notice that. Catwoman shouldn't, in a grounded one, she shouldn't be wearing high heels, but I thought this Catwoman worked fine. I see your point with some clunky dialogue. There was one in particular I was like, oh, come on, kind of roll my eyes. But outside of that, I mean, and Tony, to answer your second question, Zoe Kravitz is A+. 10 out of 10.
Smoking hot, mate. Smoking hot.
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen her in anything. Well,
X-Men First Class.
Yes.
I don't remember her in that.
Really? That's like where I first saw her. I think it was X-Men First Class.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah.
Tony Robles, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, I agree with Ryan. However, I feel Penguin was still a little underdeveloped. Also, loving my Action Force order. Definitely need more. Oh, thank you, Tony.
This week, Tony. This week.
Yeah. I don't feel Penguin was underdeveloped, but he definitely wasn't a main villain. He was Falcone's like henchman, like Consigliere or Capo, right? Very like mafia Italian gangster. Even with the accent, I thought he was awesome.
Yeah, he was great, and I like that they didn't overdevelop him because it gave room. And you saw that at the end, they showed like how that's going to set up for the sequel and the Penguin series. So I was definitely okay with them doing less with him.
Yeah. Another super chat. Matt Cropsey really liked Jim Gordon in this film.
Yeah,
Thank
Jeffrey
you,
Wright was great.
He was excellent, man. Like, he is a fantastic actor, first of all. Yeah. But he added everything. he to this movie, very grounded, very serious movie. He added that little element of comedy. Like when him and Batman were in the police station in the interrogation room, and he's supposed to like act like he's mad at Batman, right?
Right, yeah.
But he's like telling Batman how he can get out of there and try to help Batman out. I thought that was great. That was like perfect Jim Gordon for me. Thank you, Matt.
What I did like about this movie that they didn't do in past movies is they had the largest relationship between Batman and Gordon. Like Gary Oldman's fantastic. He was definitely up there as like one of the best Gordons, but I don't think they developed the Gordon-Batman relationship enough in those three movies. Whereas in this movie, you felt like there was so much between the two of them. And I loved it. I loved how much Batman was involved with Gordon and the police. It was something we'd never seen before. It's like, when have you ever, like, yeah, you saw Christian Bale in a crime scene, but like you saw Batman interacting with cops and like lots of them and being there for a while. And, it wasn't just like him and Gordon. It was really a really cool take on that relationship between Batman and Gordon.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm distracted by the porno bots again. Jeez, they're coming in strong. I think I need to change a setting over there, Tony. You'll have to show me later. Yeah, Jim Gordon was great. I like that the Batman and the Gordon we got, even though Gordon wasn't Commissioner Gordon yet, I like that they were established and we didn't need to get dragged through another backstory. We know why Batman is Batman at this point. We didn't have to see his parents get killed and the pearls drop. And, Joe Chill or Jack Napier or, whoever this version of Batman, killed Bruce's parents. I really like that it was just an established world. They drop you into it because they know that if you're going to go see a Batman movie, you know why Batman is Batman. So that was awesome. And so, Tony, to get to Falcone, how did you feel about John Turturro as a villain, portraying a mafia crime boss, crime lord?
Didn't work for me.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, that's one of my gripes about the film. So where you guys think that Catwoman's the weakest part of the film?
No, I don't think she is.
John Turturro, I thought, was the worst part of the film. To be honest, he can never, ever, ever come back from his appearance in the Transformers movie franchise.
How about his appearance in the Big Lebowski franchise? Pull the trigger till it goes click.
No one fucks with it, Jesus.
Yeah, I would never be friends with a person like that.
I don't know. I felt John Turturro was great, and I'm
not saying he was bad. It wasn't for me.
As much as we didn't see Colin Farrell, I really didn't see John Turturro because he doesn't typically play a villain. I mean, okay, Big Lebowski, sure, but that's a very comedic role, a very comedic villain role. Even Transformers, same thing. He's like the protagonist, I'd say, or the antagonist, and again, very comedic. But I thought he was great as a mafia boss, and I never would have thought of him like that. Of course, I never would have thought of Colin Farrell as the Penguin. So there were some really out of the box acting choices, and I felt they really worked. And Bobby, you were down for some John Turturro?
Oh yeah, he was great. He's a really, really good actor, and yeah, he's been in some really shit comedy movies, but he was great. That's why I liked seeing him in this role. Now, when he was cast, he was kind of the only one I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to see how that one is. But like for the few scenes he was in, he was great. Like before I saw this, I went back and watched Batman Begins just to kind of see like, all right, well, that was the first new generation of Batman movie. Let me see how that holds up. Let me see what they did, how I felt about those actors and characters. And, I look at Falcone in that movie, and it's weird. They called him Falcone in Batman Begins, but Falcone in this one. So
they said it both ways. They said Falcone and Falcone.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think Bruce said Falcone. And I think
it's kind of like the Ra's al Ghul thing. It's like Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul, who's right? But I mean, he was an interesting take, and I liked it. I also because he's a good actor, and they gave him really cool lines. And one of the things they pulled from was the story he tells about when he got shot. Like they pulled that out of my favorite Batman story, Long Halloween. So it's like when he's telling that story, I got chills. I was like, oh, that's awesome. So I felt like he was great.
Yeah, there was definitely Long Halloween inspiration in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We got a super chat from Tony Robles. Thank you very much. He says, also loving that they did the Telltale Games thing with the Wayne family. They left them morally ambiguous, which was awesome. Yeah, they did the same thing in The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
In fact, Thomas Wayne was almost just like a villain in that
movie.
movie.
He was a douche in that movie, yeah.
Yeah. That was really cool. And they brought in the Arkham family, which the Arkham family, the first time I ever remember hearing anything about the Arkham's being a family was in the Arkham Knight video game. So thank you for that, Tony Robles. Where was I going? Oh, so Batman had a bit of an arc in this movie as well. We know the line from the trailer, I am vengeance, right?
Yeah.
But by the end of the movie, he kind of had this revelation, right? He kind of had this switch because one of the Riddler's henchmen said, I am vengeance. And he realized the role he needs to play in Gotham can't just be judge, jury, and executioner. He has to be a symbol, almost like a symbol of hope. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Tony, did you pick up on that at all?
Yeah, I did. I'll be when the movie kind of first opens and there is some narration from Batman, I was like, "Oh, this is not going to be good." But then it's only used very sparingly. It's like, from what I remember, it's a little bit at the start and a little bit at the end, and actually, it just serves the story. It's not like narration all the way through explaining, Bruce is in a monologue, or Batman's in a monologue, whatever you want to call it. It was good. Those final scenes there, where he's kind of leading the people out of the Gotham Square Garden, it's obviously like Madison Square Garden in Gotham City, and then he puts the girl on the stretcher and she doesn't want to let him go. Some beautiful little moments there.
Yeah, he put the hero in superhero. You know,
Yeah.
I felt like that was his arc. He wasn't just a scary, dark shadow that was gonna, beat down some criminals, which he did in this movie, and he was brutal, and it was cool. But I like that they gave him, a bit of an arc, a bit of a character development.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying about him interacting with like the cops. This is the first time we really saw like Batman interacting with a lot of people.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, if that happened, Batman wouldn't just like be like, all right, I saved the day, peace, I'm out of here. No, like he stuck around and he like helped people. And I'm like, that was cool to see that. And you're not used to it because you're like, wow, Batman's kind of like out in the daylight and there's all these people around and he's just hanging out. And I'm like, yeah, but he wouldn't just leave. He's there to help people. So of course he would stay and do that. It was just cool that like that. Yeah, that scene, he's all dirty and that girl grabs him. And I'm like, wow, that was powerful.
Yeah. And to back up a little bit to what Tony was saying about the narration, this was very much a film noir. Almost. It was almost like a tribute to old detective noir movies. I love the narration. I love when Bruce Wayne would come in and just narrate over a scene. And it was the best detective version of Batman that we've ever gotten on film. We got a little bit of that in Keaton with, he detective his way out of the Joker venom or the Joker poison that he was putting in the cosmetics. We got a little bit in Christopher Nolan with the bullet, investigation thing. But this one was very much a detective movie. Tony, you made a face. What did you want to say about that?
I don't think we've never had a proper detective Batman in live action.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not that this is the best version. We've never had it, and that's what really separated this film from the rest of the pack. I also felt as though, holy shit! Sorry, UFC.
Who's fighting?
Sonya Dong just sparked out Marlon Moraes in the first round.
Really?
Yeah, out cold. What was I saying?
You're talking about this is the first Batman detective movie.
Yep. Yeah.
Distracted them at UFC. Tony, we got a show to do here.
I know, sorry.
But in past versions of Batman, I think the filmmakers kind of overlooked the fact that Batman debuted in Detective Comics.
Yeah.
Detective. Yep. And to get that side of Batman and have it done so well, that was the icing on the cake. I mean, that's what set this apart from the Nolan trilogy as far as a grounded Batman. I really love that.
I think what also set this apart from the Nolan trilogy is I felt like the rich tapestry of Gotham was portrayed better in this film. It was almost in a way where the first Star Wars film, people walked away going, man, we've never seen this lived-in universe where we've seen it, but it promised so much more. It expanded beyond that. That whole world-building experience that I got from the first Star Wars film, I got from this movie as well.
Yeah.
That, okay, so Batman goes to the Iceberg Lounge, but you just know if he walks past the Iceberg Lounge down the street and round the corner, there's going to be something else there. And it was one of those.
It was, it's a bit of a cliche to say this, but Gotham in this movie was very much its own character. And I think it's the best looking version of Gotham we've gotten since the 89 Batman, which, by the way, was filmed all on movie sets. It wasn't filmed in a city. Those were all constructed sets for the movie. I think with Nolan's movies, he shot them in Chicago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is a very modern looking city. Right, the farther you get out west, the newer the cities are. Gotham felt very much like an East Coast city, like an older city, Gothic, right?
But it was also filmed in Chicago.
The Batman was?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they dressed it up for sure.
It was, but it wasn't just filmed in Chicago. It was filmed in London.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, but for a lot of they used New York and Chicago.
Yeah, New York could be a stand-in for Metropolis or Gotham, in my opinion. And I know Christopher Reeve shot his Superman movies in New York, I believe.
Yeah.
So Gotham was awesome. I forget where I was going to go with that now. I was too long-winded.
Well, I've got another gripe with the film, and that is the misuse of Alfred Pennyworth.
It definitely wasn't enough of him.
Yeah, barring one scene, every bit of Alfred and almost every bit of Alfred's dialogue is in the trailers. There's obviously there's one other scene. I know we was kind of talking about spoilers, but I'm not going to bring that up here. Really underused, I should say, underused. Andy Serkis is a great actor. I like the way he was portraying the character. Then he just gets taken out of the story. So,
yeah, I felt that too. But also looking back on it, they needed to do that for Pattinson's turn. Because he had that whole like, I'm mad at you, but then it was like, oh wait, I'm actually going to lose the only person that I have. So you had to kind of use him to set that up.
That was one of my gripes with the movie, and it involved Alfred, but it was with Pattinson. Well, not Pattinson. The way they wrote Batman. When he looks at Alfred, right? And look, we said we're going to talk about spoilers. Alfred's in the hospital. He had gotten injured. And Bruce looks at him and says, "You're not my father." And I'm like, "Oh, come on. This guy stuck around, and he was your dad's employee, and he stuck around to raise you. He's your surrogate father." Like, that just seemed really like spoiled bratish. Come on.
They did the same thing in Man of Steel.
Yeah, they did.
He told Kevin Costner, "You're not my father. You're just someone who found me." It's like, whoa, hey.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I don't know. I didn't care for that. But I thought Andy Serkis was great, and I could see he was a little underused.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Hughes, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, live action fantasy league Batman Keaton, old Batman Affleck, Joker, Ledger, Penguin, Farrell, Catwoman, Pfeiffer, Riddler, Dano, Gordon, Oldman. Gary Oldman was excellent. Alfred, Michael Caine, Gotham City, 89 Batman. I like this. What's your Tony, let's start with you. What's your live action fantasy league Batman?
Christian Bale Batman, Joker Ledger, Penguin Farrell. I'm actually going to go Zoe Kravitz for Catwoman just because she's smoking hot. Riddler, Dano. Gordon, I would probably lean more towards Jeffrey Wright. Gary Oldman is a terrific actor, just because of the relationship they've got. Alfred Caine and Gotham City would be the Batman.
Bobby?
I'd probably pick everyone from the Batman, except I wouldn't put Catwoman in the movie because all three of them were terrible.
No, Pfeiffer.
All three of them? Pfeiffer was bad as well.
Again,
okay.
Campy character, man.
I mean, Keaton Batman was not grounded.
It was not. It fit, but I mean.
Okay, fair enough.
In my Batman universe, I would not put Catwoman. Alfred, I would.
She would be played by Grace Jones.
Damn straight she would. Damn straight. Alfred, I would pick Caine. So yeah, the only things I would do differently is Alfred and no Catwoman.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
everyone.
obviously Heath. Well, no, I'm going to throw a wild card in here. The Snyder cut Joker as the Joker.
I would say I'm gonna go with Pattinson as Batman. Even though, man, I love Keaton. But my love of the '89 Batman is mostly nostalgia.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Older Batman, yeah, Affleck for sure. Joker, that one's hard because I loved Joaquin Phoenix. But Ledger, yeah, I'm gonna go with Ledger. Penguin Farrell, Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz for sure. Riddler, I mean, what you got? Dano, you got Jim Carrey, and you got from '66 Batman. So I'm going Dano. Gordon. Now I'm torn between Gary Oldman and Jeffrey Wright because they were both perfect as Gordon. That's a hard choice.
You know what would be good if we could have Jeffrey Wright as Gordon when he's like a lieutenant and have Gary Oldman play the commissioner. That would have been really cool if they had done that in this. But,
okay, I like that.
See, I wonder if they're going to make Jeffrey Wright the commissioner in the second one because now that the commissioner's dead, it leaves that door open.
I think he's got a. If they're doing a trilogy, I think it's got to be the third movie where he becomes the commissioner.
Yeah.
But see, Oldman became the commissioner in Dark Knight, right? He wasn't commissioner in Batman Begins.
He got it halfway through Dark Knight.
Yeah. Commissioner. I think I'm going to go with Jeffrey Wright. He's that new sauce. I really liked him. Yeah. Alfred. I'm going to go with '89 Batman Alfred. What was his name?
Michael Go.
Go. Yeah. I got to have someone from the '89 Keaton Batman. I'm gonna pick him. And Gotham City, the Batman, hands down. Loved it. Scott Hughes.
Bobby, are you really doubling down and saying that Jared Leto's Joker is better than Heath Ledger?
You have to listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying the Suicide Squad Joker. I'm saying the small scene that Heath Ledger was.
I know what you're saying.
That scene, listen, you have to really dissect that scene and listen to his dialogue and listen to the way he delivers his dialogue. He is an amazing actor, and that is the way that Joker should have been played in Suicide Squad. And that, if you took that 5-minute scene and you gave me a whole movie, that's the way Joker should be done. Dude, don't get me wrong. I love Heath Ledger. I got a painting of him as the Joker in my office. He is amazing. What he did was amazing. But I'm just saying that Ledger's Joker from the Snyder Cut is something that I feel could be the best Joker.
Leto,
sorry.
So, guys, I'm gonna let you in on a little conversation me and Bobby had last weekend when we were watching UFC together. We were watching the pay-per-view. We were on a private chat like this, and Jared Leto went to the pay-per-view, and like in between rounds or in between fights, they were like putting the camera on the celebrities in the crowd, and there's Jared Leto, and Bobby's like, "Look at that douche! He's got a bum bag."
He did. He had a fanny pack on.
He did. He had a fanny pack.
Yeah, fanny pack.
And hashtag not my Joker.
Listen, Tim Kennedy wears a fanny pack, and I'm gonna go on a segue for a second here, just to tell a really funny story. So, with when you have a carry permit, the constant struggle is how to carry inside the waistband, outside the waistband, this and that. I don't wear baggy clothes, that sort of thing. Where it's like Tim Kennedy, shows it on his Instagram videos. He carries in a fanny pack. He wears a fanny pack. Now I've seen other guys carrying fanny packs. And I thought like, okay, well, when I come to the office, I wear like kind of like sweatpants, like I bum it around here just because, it's my office. I can do whatever I want. And it's, again, I don't wear super baggy clothes. So I'm like, I said to my wife, I was like, hey, listen, do you think it would be okay if I wore a fanny pack? And she was like, what do you mean like a fanny pack? And I showed her a picture of Tim Kennedy wearing his fanny pack. And he was plugging his carry fanny packs that are sold on his website. I'm like, look, this for carrying. And she looked at me and she was just like, she said something along the lines of, you can't wear that. And I was like, fair enough. That's all I needed to hear. I just needed one opinion on if I could wear a fanny pack. And she said no. Done. Sold. Tim Kennedy, Joe Rogan, you can wear a fanny pack because if anyone says anything, you can beat the shit out of them. Like, but
I wear a fanny pack at work.
Huh?
I wear a fanny pack at work.
Do you really?
I do. Yeah, I'm not going to say what I do for work. Some people know, but I have a job where I use a Bluetooth speaker while I'm working, and I carry that charging cord for it in my fanny pack, bottle of water in my fanny pack. It's very convenient, and a backpack wouldn't really work. It could, but it's much easier with a fanny pack. And I got no shame. I rock that thing. I don't care. So what? Tim Kennedy wears one? I can wear one. I'm not carrying a gun in it, but
you can. So Bobby, you're like, it's my office, if I want to wear sweatpants. If it was my office, I wouldn't wear pants.
Thank you.
I'm not wearing pants on this podcast.
Well, I have employees now, so I can't not wear pants.
I mean, you could.
I mean, I could. But
have you got a like sofa bed or something there yet?
I don't have a sofa bed. I have a blow up air mattress. Just because when we watch the UFC stuff, here on the East Coast, it's like that shit ends. It's almost 2:00 in the morning. So my wife's like, you should just get like a futon or something. So you could just stay there. And when we were going through like series 1 with all the orders, and we were here like late hours, I was like, you know what, I should just get like something. So I was at Target and they had like sales on air mattresses, and also it's like because it's kind of like it's an office in like an office building, but it's there's a lot of spiders in here and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't want spiders crawling me nuts. So I bought a tent and an air mattress. Just in case I ever like stayed here, I can like camp out in the tent with the air mattress. However, I'm not the only like I haven't slept on the air mattress yet. Only one person has, and that is our good buddy Sal. Sal came here, and Sal works the night shift, so he came here to work, and he was like, I'm going to take a power nap for a couple hours, and I set up the mattress for him, and he got some Z's. So yeah.
Funny you mentioned Sal, because he actually told me he really enjoys it when you pitch a tent at the office.
I pitch a lot of them.
Yeah. Let's get to a few more super.
I'm telling you, when I come over there in June, when the period of time that I spend in Rhode Island, I'm not paying for a hotel.
You can just sleep here. It's fine.
Yeah, but on an inflatable mattress, or are you going to sort me out with a futon?
The air mattress? I'm not going to buy a futon for you.
He wants a Batmobile bed.
Well, maybe I can handle that one.
All right. So
next time you talk to Tim Kennedy, though, tell him that you had to buy a tent because you were worried about spiders crawling on you.
I don't like spiders, man. Listen, I'm a big baby when it comes to spiders, man. I don't like them.
Let's get to some super chats, and then we'll kind of wrap up the Batman talk. Yesterland Toys, thank you very much. He says my favorite scene by far was when Batman was kicking ass and beating up bad guys when they were shooting at him in the hallway in the dark. I literally yelled out loud in the theater, "Hell yeah!" That was awesome.
That was all done with practical effects. Like that was no CGI in that scene.
That was cool.
Came out and he was talking about that scene. It's like they shot it in different takes, but it was all practical.
Man, how about that opening scene in the subway where he's walking in slow, and it's the same kind of thing, right? He's in the shadows and the like that. I'm going to call him a Joker gang because they were wearing face paint, but they're looking at him and he just kind of slow, like he did a lot of slow walking. And I thought that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like that was like intimidating. He just comes out, and then the way he fought was so realistic and so brutal. Oh man. This might be my favorite Batman movie. Thank you, Yesterland.
It was kind of sloppy fighting. Like he got hit a lot too, which was good. He wasn't like a flawless like martial artist, you know?
Yeah, and that that's part of his character as Batman in his second year on the job.
Mhm.
That was great.
When he escapes the police station, like he runs up to the roof, and this is no spoilers because you see it in the trailer. He runs up to the roof, and then he's like, got that. He pulls the cord, and all of a sudden he's got a wingsuit, and he goes to jump off the building in that wingsuit. And you see him, he like climbs up on the ledge, and he's like, "Whoa, shit!" Like he's nervous about doing it. It's
that
like,
was great. That was
I really like those little bits there. Like, yeah, he's still getting into this.
Thank you, Yesterland Toys. And yeah, the wingsuit really speaks again to how grounded this movie is, because as much as I like the Nolan movies, and they are grounded, that cape would never work for gliding.
Yeah, that was one of the far-fetched ideas in that trilogy that I just couldn't get behind. I was stop it.
It would have to be 3 times as big as it was.
Yeah.
So
What
was.
What are we talking about?
Christian Bale's cape.
When he would electrify it and it would turn into like a wingsuit.
Yeah.
That was very comic booky because it's not realistic, which I'm fine with, by the way. I like comic booky Batman. We got another super chat here, and thank you, Yesterland Toys. We got another one from Tree Theodore. Thank you. He says, "Thanks, Bobby, for providing me incentive to purchase my first ever 6-inch figure, Desert Rat."
Awesome, man.
Thank you very much, Tree. Tree, I'm actually I've been doing some filming this morning using the 80th anniversary Captain America and Thor figures that you sent me. So thanks for that.
Awesome.
They are making an appearance in my Valaverse video. So
speaking of getting sent stuff, and Tony, you didn't send this to me, but you enabled me to get it. I bought it live on air.
Oh,
I got the this thing from.
Oh, I want one.
All the way from the UK. Get them while they're still affordable.
Damn, I want one.
I think with shipping, I was just under $100 for this.
Really?
This
That's
is called. Yeah, this is called the Jackal, Tony.
Yep. The Jackal.
Now I just need to get some of that gym mat material to put in the seats like you did.
You can get that from Gridiron.
Oh. Jesus. Okay. I'll go to Walmart. Let's see. Okay.
It's probably a lot cheaper at Walmart. Yeah.
I saw some of that at Kroger. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hey, the Obi-Wan trailer. Are we going to spend a couple of minutes or?
Okay. Before we do, we'll do real quick Obi-Wan trailer thoughts. But first, just to wrap up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Tony, final thoughts, and out of 5 stars, what do you give the Batman?
I'm a big fan of the Chris Nolan films, not so much The Dark Knight Rises. I really like Batman Begins. To me, this was on a different level. It's not perfect, as I've mentioned. There's a few things with it, but I would give this probably 4.5 stars out of 5. And I would say I think this is the best Batman film we've ever had.
All right. Bobby? Final
5.
thoughts and out of 5.
Hands down, it's 5. It's 5 stars all the way. It is now. Ask anyone that knows me. Like, to me, like the Nolan trilogy is up there with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They're my favorite movies. I've watched those movies so many times. I think I saw Dark Knight like 6 or 7 times in the theater. So I always held those movies in such high regard because it was like everything I wanted out of a Batman movie. And it's like, then I watched this and I'm like, wait, no, this is everything I wanted out of a Batman movie. And I didn't even realize it. And it sucks because I look back, it's almost like how I felt about 89 Batman. Batman Begins and Dark Knight came out. And to me, it was like, I could care less about 89 Batman, as nostalgic as it was for me. But to me, it was like, I don't need that movie anymore. I have what I need here. But now it's like, I saw this movie and I'm like, I don't need those movies anymore. I have what I need right here in a Batman movie. And it was like everything. It's his suit, his costume was by far the greatest costume. It destroyed the Nolan suit. It is so good and so perfect and so practical. He's great. Like everything about this movie was what I wanted. It also, like, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, I was watching it. It's a great movie. So, yeah, man, like, dude, I'm sold, man. I can't wait to see it again. I want to go see it again this week. It's fantastic. I can't say, Zoe Kravitz was the limiter for me, but not because of her, but just because of the Catwoman character. But that didn't hurt the movie. The movie's just so good that couldn't have hurt it.
All right.
The score. We didn't talk about the score. The score is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
The score is amazing.
Yeah.
Wasn't there
the best score to a Batman film?
Yeah.
I know I've brought up things about Alfred Pennyworth that I thought he was underused. These are all really like minor nitpicks.
Mm-hmm.
They probably sound a lot worse than it is but there's naturally not that much to fault in this. The overall experience, it is completely immersive, and I really felt like I spent 3 hours in Gotham City, not watching Gotham City. So,
yeah, I give it 4 out of 5. The only thing holding it back is from 5 out of 5. It's just that, like I said, some clunky dialogue, just a few minor nitpicks, keeping it from a 5 out of 5. But I got to see it again. I've only seen it once. I haven't seen it twice like these guys. I definitely want to see it again. Favorite Batman? Oof. I love the Nolan movies. I love Keaton. I think I put it ahead of the Nolan movies. Tied with Keaton. Maybe ahead. See, the thing with the Keaton movie is it's just that childhood nostalgia. I mean,
When was the
I
last
think
time you watched it?
Probably 6 months ago, a year ago.
Okay.
Oh no, I watched it before we did a show about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But Robert Pattinson, excellent Batman. All the actors were great choices. I didn't have issues like Bobby did with Catwoman. I didn't have issues with Falcone like Tony did. I loved them both. Solid movie and probably my favorite Batman, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. Another reason I would give it 4 out of 5 is because the Batman I prefer is more comic book, less realistic. I love this movie, but my ideal Batman will fight Clayface. He will team up with, a teenage Robin. He'll, team up with Superman. That's not going to happen in the Matt Reeves universe. And that's okay. This Batman is awesome. So 4 out of 5. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I'm sorry if we spoiled it. It doesn't matter if it's spoiled for you. It's so good you're gonna love it. Highly recommended.
Ryan, you just took a star off because they didn't cast George Clooney.
No. If they're gonna cast George Clooney at this point, he's so old that he would really have to bulk up like Sylvester Stallone style, and they'd have to do Dark Knight Returns. And he'd have to have that voice chip like Affleck had.
Don't get upset about it. If you do, you can always go and watch your 4K box set of the Twilight Saga.
Oh, yes. Right after this show, that's what I'm doing, Twilight. Okay, so the Obi-Wan trailer. And just a few thoughts because we're almost out of time. Tony, overall, how did you feel about the Obi-Wan trailer?
We don't need an Obi-Wan series, hands down. We don't need it. The prequels already started to break the importance of that character by things. I know it's only a throwaway line of dialogue in Star Wars, but Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan's like, don't seem to ever remember owning a droid. And then, of course, he spends 3 movies with R2-D2 in the prequels. And there's a line of dialogue from Darth Vader in the first Star Wars film when he's dueling on the Death Star with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he says, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. They push that to its limit in Revenge of the Sith. They have already said that Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader is going to have another duel with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm like, did you or did you not watch that masterpiece video from my friend Michael French at Retro Blasting? It's okay for stories to end. There is no way they can do a series about Obi-Wan Kenobi and have it not further break the story. You will not be able to go back now after this series and watch the duel between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars and have it mean anything. Also, aside from the fact that the Inquisitors in the trailer just looks like Mr. Testicle Head, or what was that? From the '66 Batman TV show, Egghead.
Egghead.
They can pose no threat because everybody knows that Luke and Obi-Wan are going to survive the series. There is no tension. There's nothing you can do to fix that.
All excellent points. Here it is, and I don't know how they got it so wrong. Like Michael from Retro Blasting always says, the fans are doing it better. A fan probably whipped this up in 10 minutes on Photoshop and totally fakes the Grand Inquisitor's look.
Yep.
Right there. This is the top. That's Disney. This down here, it's a fan. Credit to whoever did it. I don't know. This has been floating around online. But that was my biggest issue with the trailer was this. Now, as far as the prequels, I've said it before. I don't hate the prequels. I've always enjoyed them. They're certainly not perfect. But Ewan McGregor, here's another hot take. I prefer him, and I don't dislike Alec Guinness at all, but I prefer Ewan as Obi-Wan. So I'm excited to see Ewan come back and play that role again because he's an excellent actor. I love how he played Obi-Wan. How's his British accent? How is his accent compared to Alec Guinness? I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, and he's Scottish. Like his natural accent is very, very strong. So he has to work hard to do it more like a classical English actor. But no, look, I agree with everything you're saying about you. I think Ewan McGregor's a terrific actor. I fell in love with Ewan McGregor when he was in Trainspotting. You know,
yeah.
And I wasn't one of the people who saw Trainspotting a few years later because of, you know, the hype. I saw Trainspotting when it came out. And I thought Ewan McGregor was awesome in this trailer. He rode a camel and he sat on a rock and he was a peeping Tom. And that was all we got. And the rest of it, the show should be called The Inquisitors. This is going to be another thing like Boba Fett where, you know, that should have been called, you know, the Power Rangers visit Mos Eisley. Oh, and with a cameo here and there from Boba Fett.
No. Bobby?
I'm excited for it. It could be me just overhyping it like I always do, but I'm really excited for it. I love Obi-Wan as a character. I love, you know, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. He's probably the only good thing about the prequels, but I never watched Clone Wars or Rebels, so to me, the Inquisitors are just, I know nothing about them. I'm with Tony on the Vader duel. The one thing I am not happy about is the fact that they brought Vader didn't even need to be in this. If you wanted to put him in kind of like how they handled him in Rogue One. Do scenes with him by himself talking about things, not interacting with the lead character. Also, it's like the last time we saw Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, we all have that bad taste in our mouth. It's like, you want that again? And also, like, listen, Vader's supposed to be like 7 feet tall. How tall is Hayden Christensen? Why are you putting this guy in the suit? Why? It makes zero sense.
I think Hayden is 6'2", so he's about 3 or 4 inches too short.
It makes zero sense to have brought him back just to put him in the suit. Makes no sense. You're gonna have his voice dubbed over. You could have just paid anyone to put in that suit. Same guy from Rogue One. Get that guy back. He was great. So I'd rather them focus on Maul rather than Darth Vader. If they don't put Maul in it, I'll be upset. Now, also, if they do not put Liam Neeson in it as a Force Ghost, I'll be super pissed.
That'll be a huge misstep on their part.
Huge.
So, just to be clear, you sure it's Hayden in the suit, in the Vader suit?
That's what it said. You know?
Okay. It could be because he was in the Vader suit for Revenge of the Sith. But I saw something today that it's confirmed that Hayden will also be used for flashbacks of the Clone Wars.
Oh.
So there might be some de-aging of the two of them. Hayden still looks really good for his age. He still looks young. So if they do have to de-age, it won't be very much. Tony's asleep. Yeah. Tony. Bobby, I'm kind of with you. I'm excited for it. I can also see how him and Vader could duel again, despite that line in A New Hope, just because this is 10 years before A New Hope. And Vader could still kind of be a Sith. I mean, he is an apprentice. He's a Sith apprentice. You know, maybe he achieved masterhood in that second 10 years. I know I'm splitting hairs, Tony. You and your face.
You're one of these Star Wars fans who's just making up whatever excuse they can.
I have to. Otherwise, I'll hate
here's
it.
Here's the reason
if we never got another Star Wars anything, I wouldn't care. I mean, keep giving me some Star Wars action figures, but no more Star Wars live action, animation, anything.
You know,
please, don't punish me with more of your Disney dog shit.
Dante actually brought up a really good point on Infinity Equation last night, and that was, why are they not hopping back to the old Republic?
Yeah.
That's thousands and thousands of years. Like, that could be really cool Star Wars, because at that time, according to the lore, there was no rule of two. There was armies of Sith, right? Tons of Jedi. That could be something really cool to explore. Or, go way in the future, Go 1,000 years past. But I think Book of Boba Fett really kind of showed they need to get away from bringing back old characters and ruining them. But I hope Obi-Wan's good, because I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. So
you know why I'm okay with the Obi-Wan series is because he was on Tatooine watching Luke for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, you can't tell me 20 years went by and nothing happened. So it's like, that's why I'm okay with this series, because it's like something had to have happened.
Issue.
Well, he goes off world.
He does.
How do you feel about that? He leaves Luke?
When I was listening to a video today about it, like that, because I was like, how's he gonna fight Vader? And I'm like, if he goes to Tatooine, he's gonna know Luke's there. So it would make sense for him to fight Vader off world. And I'm like, that's how they're gonna do that. And that's probably gonna be the worst part of the series, is pigeonholing him to fight Vader and making it so that he has to go off world. I'm not okay with that part.
Well, see, my theory is he has to go off world to protect Luke, because in the trailer we see an Inquisitor on what looks like Tatooine. So maybe Obi-Wan was forced to pull out his lightsaber, which caught the attention of the Inquisitors. They come to Tatooine, so just to get them away from Luke and to make sure Vader doesn't show up on Tatooine, he leaves, right? Maybe leaving a breadcrumb trail, right? So okay, Obi-Wan was here, but he left, right? And so then they battle on that stand-in for Coruscant. Like, they should have just called it Coruscant. I forget what they called that. What was it? I don't remember. But it looks like Coruscant, right, in the trailer. But it's not. It's some other planet. That, or maybe going on a mission to protect Leia, those two scenarios are the only reason why I could see Obi-Wan leaving Tatooine. But I mean, we'll see. Tony, are you even going to watch it?
No, Pam and Tommy's finished now on Disney, so that's me. I'm done with my subscription.
Okay. Okay.
No, it's only 6 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the password to your Disney Plus account, Bobby.
And they're not going to be an hour long. They're going to be like Mandalorian's like 40 minutes.
I don't have a problem with them doing an Obi-Wan series. Personally, I felt that was one of the better ideas they had because Ewan McGregor was one of the best parts of the prequels. When they announced Hayden Christensen coming back and another Jew, I'm like, fuck off. They cannot help themselves. They cannot help themselves.
Have you guys ever seen Hayden in any other movie?
Yeah.
I saw him in that movie right after the trilogy. It was like Jumper or something like that.
Yeah.
With Sam Jackson?
Oh, he's a terrible actor.
I didn't think he was terrible in that movie. Granted, in the prequels, he's being directed by Lucas, and he's trying to have the cadence of James Earl Jones. Some really cringy moments in those movies with him.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's as bad as everyone assumes he is because of those movies. Like he did a movie called Shattered Glass as well, I think in 2008.
Yeah.
He was fine in that movie. Like his acting wasn't horrible. I won't say he's like Gary Oldman level actor, but he's, he can hold his own. So, I mean, we'll see. We have till May 25th for the first episode. So a couple months out.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the first episode of Obi-Wan to happen. And Tony has a change of heart, and he's like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'll watch it. And you see scene opens up, it's Obi-Wan on Tatooine, and all of a sudden you see him, he goes, like a bantha.
Grace Jones shows up.
Tony's going to lose it.
Oh, well.
Wow.
All right. So there's your Obi-Wan talking. Hey, guys, we only went like 7 minutes overtime this week.
Nice.
Not bad.
Look, I've still got faith that Hayden Christensen is going to pull out of the project last minute when Matt Reeves offers him the part of Joker in the Batman Year 2.
Nah. That's one thing we actually didn't touch on is the Joker makes a cameo at the end of Batman, and he's played by Barry Keoghan,
Yep.
who is
Irish guy.
Irish guy. He was in let's see what the Green
Eternals.
Knight. Yeah, he was in Eternals. He's the dude from Eternals. God, what a horrible movie. Anyway, that could have just been to fill a spot as a cameo because they never show his face. So Joker could technically be recast. Not sure about this guy. I haven't seen enough of him in anything. I haven't seen him in anything except Eternals.
He's been in tons of stuff, and I've seen a lot of him because of he's been on a lot of like British TV. He's a really good actor.
Okay,
I would not be upset if I got to see him play the Joker in the next film.
Well, you might. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's our show, episode 10, 3POA podcast. Don't forget, subscribe to the 3POA channel on YouTube because soon we will be switching the show over to its own channel, the 3POA podcast channel. Earlier it said we had 51 subscribers and now it says 17. So I don't know if the growth was too fast and YouTube started deleting subscriptions or what.
Yeah,
it was all the
24 hours and it'll catch up.
What's that?
It was all the porn bots.
Oh, all the porn bots subbed. Well, hey, shout out to Juji and Timothy Ward. Thank you guys. Timothy Ward's a mod. They were knocking him dead left and right. And Tony, there must be a setting I can change in YouTube Studio to kind of block the spam.
It was coming up on Analog Toys as well. So
okay, so they're just out for us tonight.
Yeah.
All right. So that's episode 10 of the 3POA podcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks, which will drop us on March 26th. We'll be back. No planned theme for that show, but stay tuned. You can subscribe to Analog Toys, the 3POA channel. Please Follow the 3POA podcast on Instagram because that's where that's where to get the best updates for this show. You can follow me on Instagram, LaserPants81. Tony, Instagram at analog_toys.
I think so.
Yep. Analog Toys on Facebook.
Yeah, but you can. So we do this show every other Saturday. On the opposite weekend, on the Friday, you'll always find me on Retro Blasting doing a new series that I'm absolutely loving called War Stories. I'm also in Bobby's DMs all the time. He's in my dreams.
All the time.
And, you know, Falcone, Valaverse, Valaworse. Love you all.
I still have my Valaverse t-shirt. I got to bring that to Joe Fest. Bobby, you are Valaverse everywhere. Valaverse on Instagram.
Yep.
YouTube.
Yep. Hey, before we get off, I wanted to give a quick shout out to one of our listeners, Evander from France. He sent me a nice gift of some vintage Action Force stuff. So thank you, Evander, and thank you for being a fan of Action Force and for being a fan of 3POA. I'm sure it's probably nighttime over there, so he'll probably catch this on the replay. So hope you enjoy the show when you listen.
He always watches the replay.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Shout out to him. One more thing. I'm going to be on the Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse podcast on April. I think it was Saturday, April 2nd, which is April 3rd in Australia. We're Zazel. I'm looking forward to that. Those guys have a great show. Check them out on YouTube.
I had a blast being on their show. It was a lot of fun.
Me too.
That was a great episode. I was watching part 3 of their Sergeant Slaughter interview today. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for me, Tony, Bobby, we'll see you on the 26th. And take care. Have a good one. And go see The Batman if you haven't yet. Later.
Yeah.
Oh, and Action Force Series 2A back up on Valaverse.com this week. Stay tuned.
No day yet?
No day yet. I'll put it on social media.
Some slammers.
Slammers.
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned. Yeah, your second chance to get one of the 500 Sergeant Slammers. Awesome.
Nice.
Later, everyone.
Later.